to him, Baroque literature is a kind of, with its different cultures of the Caribbean and everything, it is a kind of extended, and this can be considered as Baroque redundancy, so that just Glissant's meaning of extension is Baroque because it is Baroque redundancy. And this redundant poetics is reflected in his discourse. As we saw, he plays with those exaggerated repetitions, with opaque symbols, with chaotic compositions. There's no punctuation, and his sentences are almost long and almost endless and inscrutable. In this way, he really complicates his novel. This is Glissant's stylistic extension, or Baroque redundancy. But in addition to that, you can observe Glissant's extended words, or word creations. So Glissant's words of extension. He plays with masking and unmasking of specific expressions and creates new Caribbean words, as we saw with the other quotation, with the on liané, the words are looping, or les paroles sont lianes. And with the sentence, viens avec moi, this could be one kind of those archipelagic expression of words. So this mixture of English and French. Another really nice Caribbean word creation are the verbs only and désiler, which could mean, because it contains an island, so this could mean come and go to the islands, or more general, come and go to the Caribbean. And he uses really those verbs like come and go to the Caribbean in his texts. The other verb was on liané, so which is related to some nature motifs, to English liana, and could mean to loop or to creolize. At a first view, those for an European reader uncommon words and meanings are really incomprehensible, so they're hiding meanings. But at a second view, they reveal another aspect of those verbs, like come and go to the Caribbean. And therefore, they can be considered as opaque, because they are hiding and revealing at the same time. A little similar to this are the names of Caribbean, of Glissant's protagonists. So Glissant creates not only those kind of Caribbean neologisms, but also name masking. And one example can be, or name cannibalizing. One example can be his main protagonist, Nestor Source-Fontaine. In French, this could mean Nestor de la Source-Fontaine, which in English, la Source-Fontaine is the secret source, so it is Nestor of the secret source, of the depth source. And if we now consider that source means origin, he is so Nestor of his own hidden origin. And this can be interpreted as he is the Nestor who searches for his roots, or for his lost memory. So Nestor is really linked with his own destiny, with his name. So I don't know if you understand, but in this, with Nestor Source-Fontaine, I think Glissant relates the collective search of the Caribbean with an individual search of memory of the Caribbean. Another nice example is the protagonist Orestille I mentioned, and this young boy Orestille contains or stands for an whole island, or he is masking a whole island. As you can see, Orestille contains the French verb of the island, île, and if we now change the word order, we have île Oreste, and in a more proper French, île d'Oreste, which means island of Oreste. In the same time, Orestille is a kind of mythological mask, because Oreste, in Greek mythology, was the Agamemnon's son who killed his mother. So with Orestille, Glissant mixes up European literary tradition, so this intertextuality with antiquity, with Caribbean writing, or French Caribbean writing. And then with this, he stresses the elements of the cultural melting pot of the Caribbean with all those important elements, so which contain European elements. Those word creations stress Glissant's Baroque poetics of extension, of excessiveness, of Baroque redundancy, and in this way he creates a real Caribbean archipelagic novel which contains all the important elements of the Caribbean culture. He shows then with those neo-baroque techniques of creolization, opacity, of excessiveness, the complex Antillean history, identity and culture, the antillanité, his antillanité. So I think we have seen that those concepts lead to neo-baroque poetics, or to his poetics of antillanité, which is a neo-baroque poetics. The central question of my investigation was the neo-baroque aspect in Glissant's work, or in other words, I wanted to know if a transfer from the hispanophone Caribbean to the French Caribbean could be possible. And I think we all will come to the same conclusion, that Glissant's work is bursting of neo-baroque. He really creates a neo-baroque style which is similar to the Cuban neo-baroque style, but has its own specificities and innovations. First of all, it's the French Caribbean neo-baroque. And so Glissant's neo-baroque style reflects the French Caribbean culture in connection to the whole world in a literary text. In this way, his neo-baroque poetics is not only a poetics of antillanité, but of mondialité, I mentioned in the beginning. And all those examples I gave you are evidence that there are relations and exchanges in the Caribbean. Therefore, the cultural, linguistical, and poetic elements are possible. So the transfer of those elements are possible and exists, such as the transfer of the hispanophone neo-baroque to the French Antillean Islands. Thank you for your attention.